Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live and you are seeing my green screen for the first time. It's only up because I was doing something else previously, and to take it down is a bit of a pain in the backside. So we have the luxury of a green screen tonight. Don't get used to it right now. It takes too long to set up. I'd like to welcome my co-host tonight, Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? Good.
I'm good. All right. So we've got plenty to discuss tonight. First and foremost, let's look back at the victory against Leicester on the weekend. A 2-0 victory against the club who themselves were on a 4-game winning streak. No slouches, Leicester, but Arsenal made it look pretty comfortable on Saturday. What was your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, I thought we did. I thought we made it look very comfortable. We seem to be getting like a regular pattern into our play every single week, and it's really good to see. And we don't have to pick the side now every week. We know what side's going to be there, and we're probably going to be shocked that when we come up against a team and we play bad. But yeah, it was a very good performance. Individuals all over the pitch, many individuals that played well. Odegaard, Partey played especially well. All over the park, and it's good to see, because this is 5 wins now in a row, and the 6th one's probably going to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to come tomorrow, but if it does, I tell you what.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, it will probably come to that, but yeah, it's going to be a difficult game on tomorrow night. But as far as the weekend went, it was another day at the office, to be quite truthful, and we're getting used to seeing these type of performances, and it's getting good. It's getting exciting. It's getting great. It's getting great to watch. It's good to see that we're getting the plaudits from other areas, from pundits, from even from other clubs that are taking notice of us now. But I'm sure that won't last for very long. They'll be quick enough to shoot us down as soon as we lose a game. So
I was going to say that, Steve. I feel like they already are. If you listen to the general rhetoric that's coming from the people who are giving us praise through gritted teeth, it's almost as if they're now saying Arsenal not being 4th spot is a failure, which is going to set up another load of rubbish about how Arsenal can't get it over the line, Arsenal this, Arsenal that. When these are the same people that probably didn't even put us in the top 6 or 7 at the start of the season. Now they I can already feel them saying, or getting ready to say, Arsenal not finishing 4th is a failure. When if you look at the clubs like Man United that are currently probably our biggest rivals at the moment for that 4th spot, they've got a superior squad than us. In depth and of the quality that they've got. I know we've got some up and coming future stars like Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, but they weren't putting down the numbers that Cristiano Ronaldo, Sancho was last season. So
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is good, but I've always got that little wry smile when I do hear these people talk. You got your Jamie Carragher, you've got your Jamie Redknapps, and you got all these people now who
another Jamie O'Hara. You've got another Jamie.
Another Jamie O'Hara, who I don't know what he's doing. I don't know how he earns a living, but at the end of the day, it's talk sport, isn't it? So
he used to play for Arsenal.
Yeah,
no one ever noticed that. He keeps that quiet. He was at Arsenal. He went to my school.
Yeah.
Jamie O'Hara went to my school. Yeah, he was an Arsenal youth player, and then he didn't make it at Arsenal. He didn't make it at Arsenal, so he went to Tottenham. That's why he's salty.
That's why he's got.
Arsene Wenger didn't give him that contract. That's why he's salty.
Yeah. And now you're sitting on Talk Sports, Jamie. So it's where you belong. But it's good. It's good to see. And although we jested and we were having a little joke here about it, it is good to see people praise us. But we can go back to the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, and they're always waiting for Arsenal to slip up for some reason. I don't know why. It's just always been that way, and it'll be that way forevermore, and it'll be that way. I mean, we're hearing today about how now Liverpool's a test of how far we've come.
Oh, again, this old test again. The tests are coming out.
The test, but I mean, hasn't we where we are now? Sitting fourth in the league. Isn't that a test to where we've come?
Yeah. Like, no, you're spot on there. Forget this Liverpool test. Forget the individual tests. The main test, and we said it before when we were talking about tests, is at the end of the season. That's the test. Because along that way, there's so many different tests. Like earlier on, it was, how do Arsenal get over a loss? Boom, they did. How do Arsenal get over 2 losses that they should have won the games? Boom, they did. How do Arsenal get over a striker not scoring? How do Arsenal get over injuries, red cards? How do Arsenal get over being in fourth spot and being under pressure? This is the next test. It's the how do they handle that fourth spot place? With the games in hand and the points on the board, how do they handle that pressure going game to game and knowing full well that the pressure that is in their hands? That's the next one. That's the test, not Liverpool. Definitely. Because if we lose to Liverpool, what do we learn from that? If we beat Liverpool, what do we learn from that? Like, Liverpool is still a better team than us.
Exactly.
Like, they've still got a better front three. They've still got a better. They've got everything that's better than us right now. Liverpool right now. You won't ever hear me say that again. Right now. Yeah. But Arsenal beating them, it's not conkers. It doesn't mean that Arsenal are better than Liverpool. So I'm not interested in that test. The test for me is at the end of the season.
No, for me, I'm sure Mikel Arteta's, I'm sure the players are having a laugh and a joke about it in the dressing room, and I'm sure they're talking about it like we're talking about it tonight. About we've got another test. They'll be chatting. They'll be saying, here we go again. Testing this Liverpool. But I'm sure Mikel Arteta's, he's probably turning around and saying to players, look, if we want to talk about tests, what we want is individual tests. Individual tests on each player improving, their game, game by game, month by month, season by season. And if they're doing that, then for us, they're passing their tests. It's like you just said, you're going to get beat by Liverpool. You're going to get beat by Man City. You're going to get beat by somebody. But the important things is that, the mentality of when you get beat, and the young players of what we've got, with the youngest team in the average age in the Premier League, when they do get beat, when they do hit that barrier where they maybe have lost one or they've drawn one, that they can still pick themselves up and they can take themselves forward and they can come back. That's a test. They're tests. They're tests. Winning a game, losing a game, not test. Maybe not even finishing fourth. That's not even a test. It's individual. Where they're young, we just want to see them keep improving, and if they're doing that, for me, they're passing the test.
Yeah, no, definitely. I fully agree. So there's a lot have been spoken about the performances of Martin Odegaard and Thomas Partey this weekend. How much have you seen them grow since the start of the season? Obviously, with Partey, he didn't have the best of full seasons last year, on and off with injuries, and a really poor start to the season, which had people worrying. And Martin Odegaard, who finally in a settled team, but still had quite a few critics at the start of the season for his potentially lack of goals. People said he was weak. How much have those two come along so far since the start of the season?
Well, we take Martin Odegaard. I mean, we all knew about Martin Odegaard before he came to Arsenal. Before he was a little twinkle in Mikel Arteta's eye. You know, we did the Golden Boy. You know, every year when it came out, and Martin Odegaard was one of the players that me, you, and Jerome got really excited by, and we would have never envisaged that he would come to Arsenal, but he did. He specialised at Real Sociedad. He was an incredible footballer there. He was talked about as going on to be one of the best in the world, even at that age. Then they wanted to put him out on loan because he went to Real Madrid and he wasn't any off there. Then he came to Arsenal, and from the beginning we thought, wow, this kid's something. We want to keep him. I think that because of he was a loan towards the end, and he knew he had to go back. His form dipped, he went back.
Yeah.
Then he's gone back to Real Madrid, and obviously we pushed. Arteta wanted him. He knew what he was all about. He'd seen him in training because obviously he'd had him from the year before. He wanted him badly. He didn't want James Maddison. He didn't want other players. He wanted Martin Odegaard. He's came in and just from the start of this season, he's just grown and grown. He had a few games on the substitutes bench at the beginning of the season because then when Smith-Rowe was in front of him. And they played each other a couple of times, but it didn't really hit off. It didn't really work, really. Although you'd take it. It wasn't bad, but as soon as in the last few months, I mean, we're seeing possibly a next Ballon d'Or winner. We're seeing Cesc Fabregas. We're seeing a Santi Cazorla. We're seeing something that. You saw a man and think, oh, we're never going to see a Cesc again. We're never going to see a Santi again. But you're talking about someone there who could even, go above those players. And his touch, his quality, he's got everything, and his vision is just, it's just incredible to see. Player cam is just a joy. I hated player cam, but I'd pay to have just player cam just on him and watch him for a whole game because he's an incredible footballer. And
and we've got Martin Odegaard in the sort of we got Cesc Fabregas at the start of his career, like the very start, from the age of 15, and that was like. The inevitable. It always felt like it would eventually go home and go to Barcelona. So we was always prepared for that as Arsenal fans, but we never wanted to see it happen. And Santi Cazorla, it was almost as if it was like you just came too late. He came. Where was you all our lives? He came just at a point where he was hitting his peak, but you just wanted him that little much longer. So it was always that thought of, if we only had him a few years beforehand, like we didn't realise how good this geezer was before he joined Arsenal. And how Santi Cazorla's name in world football wasn't bigger than what it is before he joined Arsenal.
I think he's still so underrated.
He is. And I, to this day, I couldn't even work out what footed he was. That's how good he was. Because he'd take a corner and free kick with his left or right foot. It did not matter. That guy was an absolute magician. Pulled by the scruff of the neck to get us that FA Cup win against Hull. That free kick. Absolutely amazing player. But with Martin Odegaard, it feels like we've got him at a perfect time. He started off young. He's probably wise beyond his years with the amount of experience he's had. He's gone to Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he's tried many times and it just hasn't worked out. And it feels like he's come to Arsenal to find a home. And where he's already been at the big Uber club, it almost feels as if this could be the place he wants to just settle down and call his place home. He's playing his best football here. He said he's enjoying his football the most here. And I in my head right now, I'm probably talking crazy, but I can't see him moving elsewhere. Because it would be like, what are you going there to achieve? Unless something really falls off the cliff. This is a guy who's been to Herenveen. This guy who's been to Sociedad and all those clubs that he was at. It always felt like that could be his place eventually if it didn't work out at Real Madrid. Like, I can't see where he would go from here if, like, it just feels like it's too good to be true. It feels he's a great player, and long may it continue that he stays at this club.
Yeah, I mean, exciting. I think I think he's came just to the right time, and I think another thing, the fact you just mentioned there, that he's came from the club, the Galactico club, the Uber club. He's came from there, and he's came to Arsenal, and you just get that feeling that what you said there, that he would never go. It seems like this is his home, and he's here for forevermore. And that's a good thing as well. He talks about how happy he is, and and that probably helps with the fact because the manager's young and the players around the young. It all helps things like that. And just long may it continue. And I think I don't think we've seen the best. Well, I know we ain't seen the best of him yet. And
no, because I think we've still got goals, we've got more assists. We've got to put someone in front of him who can put the ball in the back of the net a bit more. Because the other day he created 6 chances, which was like three or four more than anyone else on the pitch. Yeah. And you just need someone there who's going to be able to sort of complement those assists that he gets.
Yeah, making 6 chances in a match is. You're on your way to world class,
and he didn't get any assists. He didn't get any assists either because Thomas Partey got the 2 assists. So that's the craziest thing. That's the craziest thing. Or Martinelli got 1 assist and a goal, and Partey scored the goal, and the other assist was from a Thomas Partey header. It was handball, and then Lacazette scored. So the fact that he had created 6 chances, and none of them were converted. There's so much more to come, and the season that we do get a striker that is able to convert those chances, it's going to be frightening.
One of these days, he's going to do 5 assists to someone. We're going to win 5-0, and he's going to do every assist. That's going to happen. I'm positive one day that will happen. But we knew what he was, and it's fantastic that he's here. It's fantastic that he's happy. And like you said, it's just what can you do when he's got that quick, fast centre forward as well? That he can aim at. It's just it's great. Long may he stay. Thank you for coming.
Let's see what the comments are saying. Johnny says the Arteta out brigade. The silence is deafening. Oh, it's wonderful, Johnny. It's wonderful. It's a failure if we don't get top 4 yet. At the beginning of the season, we had no right to be top 4. One way or another, the pundits on the media look for a way to bash at us. They do. And that's why when we do win something, we make sure everyone knows, which is why they probably hate us even more. It's the consistency of our youngsters that's really impressing me. It is. And you've got to think, when you say youngsters, Ramsdale, Ben White, Gabriel, Tierney, Tierney is only a year older than them. Tomiyasu's 23. Like, when we talk about youngsters, are we talking about 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, or are we talking about the 23-year-olds who are our older players? It's crazy. Our oldest players are Lacazette and Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka. And the rest of them are all kids. All under the age of 23 and 24. It's mad. To think that we were sort of trying to pin our hopes on the more experienced players, which completely makes sense in my eyes. Players that have been there and done it, and then we've completely thrown that book out into the bin, and then started from scratch again, and gone with the youngsters and gone for a complete rebuild, which it took guts, and it's paying off. It's paying off.
Yeah, it definitely did, and it's long may it continue. I mean, you was naming some names there. I mean, we've still got to get on to Thomas Partey, but I think I'd seriously people out there, because people have doubted this player I'm going to mention now. A lot of people have doubted this player. They doubted why we bought him. What's he doing there? Why? But I'll tell you what, Ben White is for me. I thought Gabriel was the player. I mean, I still think Gabriel's going to go on to be a world-class centre half. But I do think that Ben White's going to be with him. I'm seeing things from Ben White that, okay, I knew you were a good defender. I knew you could tackle. I knew you was, you come from the Championship. I knew you was all. I knew you could get stuck in. I knew you could block. But I never knew he had other things to his game. He's reading the game, the passing of the ball, the coming out of the ball. He's something very, very special. And for me, he should be in the England side now. I think he should be. I think he's one of the. I mean, if you're trying to tell me that Maguire's better than Ben White, please. Please don't. Please don't. I mean, I'm not one of these people who like we chant his players, and I would chant Harry Maguire. You know, he's a decent player, probably not Man United class, but he's decent. But please, look, don't let any United fans or anybody else tell me that he's better than Ben White, because he isn't. He's nowhere near him.
Yeah,
and I think people have got to realise that. I think people have got to, give him more credit, because I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. And I think he should be. I think he should be in the England side. I think he should be in the next England squad. I mean, whenever that may be, I genuinely believe that he should be in it.
Yeah, no. Ben White has been excellent this season, and he will always get scrutinised by people who wanted Saliba in. But for me, it's shown that the right decision was made with Saliba. He goes from strength to strength. I can't see how you can look at a player that's been loaned out, who's grown as a player, who's got better as a player during that loan, and look at it as a bad thing, especially when he's still got a contract with Arsenal. So to say that Saliba's going to come back to Arsenal at the end of the season, he's going to make his decision. It's not his decision. What are we talking about? He's under contract. He comes back to Arsenal when he plays. And if he doesn't want to play, or if he wants to leave, he doesn't go anywhere. He sits and waits for his turn, like everyone else would have had to. We've got a player who's currently is the top goal scorer in our team that sits on the bench. Yet Saliba's meant to come back in and take over from Ben White or Gabriel, who's been a successful partnership this season. Get in the bin. What are you talking about?
I think. I mean, Saliba seems to be getting a different vibe from Saliba. From like a little while ago, it was a bit like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I might stay here. Do you know what I mean? Sort of as if he had all the cards in his hand. But recently he's got a chain of tune. He's saying, "Oh, I want to come back. I want to fight for my place," and which is great for us. This is what we want to hear. But I think he's what he did with Aubameyang. He's the captain. He put his foot down. He showed who was the boss. And I think Saliba's probably seen that, and he's gone, look, if he's going to do that to people like Aubameyang, I ain't got no chance of coming in, because he'll have me out the door. He'll have me sitting on the bench, or he'll have me training on the own. No problem. Fair enough. Fair enough. Aubameyang's gone on to things probably that we didn't think he was going to. And good luck to him. He's doing well. He'll be like 5 and 6 games. Well done. I don't wish him any harm. He was a quality player. We knew he was going to do something well. But I do think that, I was always a bit wary of Arteta with the, maybe just going a little bit over the top and a little bit too tough. But I'm wearing down a little bit. I'm thinking, well, maybe you have to be like that. Maybe you have to kick these people out, especially when you've got a lot of young people there. Maybe if we had sort of a lot of older squad in there, 26 to 27, maybe he would have did that with Aubameyang. But maybe thinking, well, look here, I've got young players. I've got players at 20, 21, 22 that I want to stay at Arsenal for the next 5 years. So I've got to make examples. Otherwise all these lads just walk all over the place and do what they like.
Yeah, I don't think that decision was made just off his own head. I feel like there was an interview that the first interview he did just after Aubameyang left. It was a few weeks afterwards. I think it's a couple of weeks afterwards, because it's when they come back from Dubai. I feel like not many people have seen that interview, because there's so much he said without saying anything in that interview, where he was like, where when he was asked a question about were there players, or were there other people that had any influence in your decision about Aubameyang? And he said something of the ilk of, they didn't need to tell me, I could see it. So that says to me that that the things were happening, and the decision was made in the end because it was impacting other people. and he didn't. They didn't have to say anything. He could see it. He's around these people every day. So a slight change in temperament, a slight change in attitude, you'll know, and you'll hear things. He was a player himself. He's not long been a player. This is why I always said, like where he's not long been a player, there's still players that played when he was playing. There's still players that played when he was played with them. So they will hear things. They will speak to him. What you think? Pierre Mertesacker won't tell him something that, like these things. People hear things. People can tell he's not recently long been a player, so he knows when an atmosphere is changing. He knows when something's different. He didn't just make that decision on a whim. He also said when people kept on saying, they said, "Do you not think that some of these star players they should get a little bit of leeway when it comes to being late?" His response was, I don't know where you're getting this vision of me that I'm that harsh on those types of things, which says to me, when it comes to lateness, he wasn't that strict with it. It wasn't about being late. It was about what are you doing to counteract the being late. Now, if I'm not saying this is 100% verbatim, but it goes back to what I said. You can have that leeway because you're doing all these good things. As soon as you stop doing all these good things, why are you getting the leeway? And that's the thing. That's the other side of the argument. That's the other side of the coin. So, look.
Do you think where he's been? Do you think that where he was at Arsenal and he knew what was going on? Or he didn't actually know what was going on there because he was a player, so he wasn't actually.
But I think he saw what was going. I know what you're getting at. I think he saw what was going on as a player, though.
Yeah, but also that kids, also that. Obviously, now he went to Man City for 3 years. Now he's working with Pep. Now he's seeing the way Man City do things.
Yeah.
And I've always looked at Man City and Pep as being strict. You know, they like with Foden, you don't mess about. You're on the bench. Get off.
Yeah.
There's been a couple. Sergio Aguero. Well, if you're not going to do no running from there, I don't care if you are Sergio Aguero and you are the leading goal scorer or whatever. If you're not doing what I'll tell you to do, you can go and sit on the bench for 3 months. You know, it was like you do what I say. Or, you know, if you're not, and that was very similar to what Arteta came in and he was giving his trust the process thing. You got to go with what I say. You got to do what I say. So maybe he felt there was a bit of a soft underbelly at Arsenal, but players got away with things that at Man City that they wouldn't have got away. So he's brought that in, and
he still had the luxury of playing with players at Arsenal that have played with the greats. So he may not have played with the greats himself, the likes of Henry, Vieira, Campbell, Adams, but he played with Van Persie. Van Persie played with Henry. Van Persie played with all these other players who had the upbringing. So when Van Persie was made captain, he made sure that the things that they were doing when he was a young player, the making sure the team togetherness is there, making sure that outside that they're having meetups and getting to know each other a bit more than just on a football club for 3 hours of the day. He had that, so there was still that good sort of upbringing and sort of atmosphere that he was having in the club. When Mikel Arteta was captain, it was the same thing, and in fact, many people said that Mikel Arteta wasn't to be messed with as captain. He wasn't there to be taken lightly, and he wasn't there to make. He was a captain, and he wanted to set a culture. And so, where you may not have full sort of access to sort of push through that culture, because Arsene Wenger's one that likes to keep a happy atmosphere and may have said, "Okay, ease off a little bit." Yeah. Mikel Arteta's come in and gone, do you know what? Boom. That may have been the thing that was stopping Arsene Wenger, because previously Arsene Wenger had Campbell, Arsene Wenger had Tony Adams to marshal those dressing rooms. Vieira, Henry, which is why when you go and see Henry when he was managing Monaco and that player, I think he took his seat or sat down before him, there was a mark of respect that he didn't like. And those are the sort of things that were at Arsenal, which didn't happen later on. Yeah, which didn't happen later on. So and that's why when players like Sol Campbell said he came back to Arsenal, he saw things at Arsenal which he never saw during his time there. And that to me is players acting out of line. That's what that says to me. don't know who it was. He wasn't sitting there naming names. But what he said is when he came back to Arsenal, he saw things that never would have gone down when he was there. So already the culture shift had changed. And at that point then, Arsenal weren't winning trophies. Arsenal weren't winning leagues. So it's those little nuances that Arsenal had in place previously, which helped them, which kept the discipline, which was lost. So I can fully see that if we continue this with Mikel Arteta, we continue to bring in players that are going to complement us and make us better. I don't think it will be too long until we're challenging for top titles. Not saying we're going to win them. I'm saying we're going to be in the conversation. I'm not saying we're going to win the Champions League. I'm going to say we're talking about quarterfinals. We're talking about semi-finals. It may be 3-4 years, but for me, that ain't long. I can wait that long. Handle that. 20 of not winning the league. I've waited 5 of being out of the Champions League. Now, Europa, hey, I could do Champions League. That's what I want. That music. That first time I hear that music again, the hairs of my it's going to stand on the back of my neck is going to stand up.
Yeah, I think what you said, like towards it got to a certain point where we had that culture where it was everyone sort of was in line. You had the Tony Adams, you had the Bergkamps, and you had the Omris, you had the Perez's, and they were like on it. Everybody was on it, but then it got to when they start to leave, and as much as we love these players. Then we started getting in, but when the trophies stopped, players like Oxlade-Chamberlain, players like Walcott, really, and even Jack Wilshere to a degree. Aaron Ramsey was a bit on and off, season for season. When he was there, it was like they needed. It seemed to me there was something too soft going on. It was like
they needed someone. They needed someone above. They needed a big figure, but they didn't have that. The problem with them, because they were all good enough players to continue the success of Arsenal, is that they didn't have anyone to look up to.
No,
they didn't have. Look, Theo Walcott only had Thierry Henry for a little while. He had the luxury of having him around, but it wasn't for too long. Once he started getting into his proper playing days, he didn't have him around. And Robin van Persie didn't have anyone to fall back on. He was the main man, and that was the problem. There was no one else there that could take that and push us forward as well.
Yeah, we had the individuals, we had the silky smooth footballers, we had the odd world-class player, but as you said, the team, we didn't have a team, not especially look like we've got now. This is special what we got now, and we all can see the something special happening, and let's hope it's. How long can we wait? I mean, as you say, we've waited long enough. How long much more can we wait? 3-4 years? I mean, will I be disappointed? Of course I'll be disappointed if we don't get Champions League football this year because we're in with a shout. But at the end of the day, where we would have grabbed people's hands off to be where we are now. So, but I can't doubt that. I think I'm going to be gutted if we don't get Champions League football now. I'd like to see what the people in the comments now. I mean, will they be gutted?
Look, I'd be gutted, disappointed, upset for the first few days, but overall, as I said before, it's about how you miss out. Like if Arsenal lose against Liverpool, and then for the rest of the games we then drop points, barely scrape 6th spot, I'll be fuming.
Yeah.
But if Arsenal just miss out on top 4 and come 5th or even 6th, but they've tried and there's been certain things that have stopped us, then look, you got to hold your hands up and say, do you know what? We probably deserve to be in the position we are. It was probably a season too soon. But I don't care. Like I think there's a lot of opportunities to come this summer. There's a lot of really good free transfers. There's a lot of players that look like they could potentially want to lead the clubs that they're at. Yeah, there's. I'm not of the thought process of this is the best opportunity we can have, because no one expects us to be in this opportunity now anyway, and I can't see why it would be any different any other year. Like, there's always teams that don't do as well as what they thought they would do, or what we thought they would do. That's just a part of football.
I think he's learning fast. I mean, I never thought Arteta, they're talking about he's a young manager and he's just learning. Well, he's learning quick on the job for me.
Mm-hmm.
He's learning very quick on the job for me. And I know he spent about half an hour talking about Arsenal being moved into Manchester City. Well, catch up, Jamie. I said that about 4 months ago, mate. I said, he's catch up. You could see what he was doing. You could see what Arteta is doing. It's always exciting as a fan when you can see what he's building and what's happening, what's going on. And I mean, that Champions League music, I'll be pleased. It would be just it would be great. It'd be great to have it back.
Yeah, and one player who would slot straight into that Champions League music and those Champions League games is Thomas Partey, and especially in the form that he's playing at the moment. He's not just been that defensive stability that we've needed in that central midfield. He's been able to break out of the midfield positions, and he's adding little tricky turns, little getting out of tight spaces. His link-up play with Martin Odegaard and Granit Xhaka have been exceptional in recent weeks, especially. How good has he been? And what else? If it still feels like there's more to come from him.
I think there's a lot more to come. I think there's so much more to come from Thomas, and that's why I was on his back quite a lot. From when he came, and and I was seeing the loose passes, the lackadaisical sort of shoulder drop in and all that from him. I thought, what's going on, Thomas? What? And I think it's like all players, when you're not playing well, and when you're a good player and you've come from another league, and for some reason you're thinking to yourself, well, what I normally do is not happening. You do drop. You do go through a stage where you just nothing happens right, and everything what Thomas was trying was going wrong. It was whether it was a pass to the right, it was going wrong. Whether it was a 40-yard ball, it'd be going wrong. If he was taking a shot, everything was going wrong from him. But what a turnaround, because now he is that player we've bought, and there's still that extra gears in him. He's slid into that midfield, that midfield position now. And now he looks like that person who, when he lines up against other teams and matches up against other midfields, you feel that we've got Thomas Partey. And I've not felt like that when he's been in the side. I've not felt like that. Thomas Partey's playing, oh, well, okay, could be Lokonga. Well, yeah, either or. But what a turnaround. What a turnaround. He can do so many things. Well, maybe not shoot. He could practice.
Although that one week the crossbar the other day, I feel like it's coming. Yeah, I feel like it's coming.
If he could get some goals in his game, Yaya Toure.
If he could score some goals. Bloody hell, he scored. Yaya Toure scored more goals than centre forwards did. Yaya Toure smashed 25 a season. Jeez, could you imagine?
But he's got it all now, isn't he? I think he sussed out the league. I think he found it very hard, the Premier League right at the beginning. I mean, we all see him in the Spanish La Liga, and the way he played, the way he got the ball, the way he turned. He was just seemed to have loads more space there. But what you always say about a good player, players should be able to find space no matter what league they're in. It shouldn't matter. I'm sure Arteta took him to one side and said that to him, and spoken to him about when he's had bad form, and he's done that now. And now he's just making space. Now he's doing them turns. Now he's doing them passes. And like you've already said, the little combination there he's got with Granit Xhaka and Martin Odegaard, it's just the perfect combination. You just you're frightened if someone gets injured, because maybe Lokonga's not not that far ahead. Maybe we still do need another midfield player, but he's turned my view around from him for what he was at the beginning of the season, because he wasn't the Thomas Partey that we bought, and we knew what he was capable of. But I mean, at the moment, he's just a pleasure to watch, and to have, especially Granit Xhaka is more of your stopper, and but someone goes forward, he'll drop into whoever's places. He does that job fantastically. But actually, Thomas Partey with their twists and their turns, with Martin Odegaard, it's just great, because we haven't had it for so long, and long again. I keep saying again, long may it continue. But Thomas Partey, very, very, very exciting.
Yeah. I think when he first joined, as you said, he probably just thought he could slot straight in, playing against the likes of Liverpool and doing so well against them. It's easy to think that you could just come straight into the Premier League, but people adapt their game to European nights as well. The games are probably a little bit slow. We don't play the same type of football we do in the Premier League in Europe either. But one thing he did do, and I noticed it more this season as well, is it felt like he just went back to basics to start again, and then build himself up, build up his confidence, because he was hitting the 40-yard diags, and they were coming off every now and again, but not enough. And it was like a moments game. It was like, Thomas Partey looked good in moments, but for 60% of the game, 70% of the game, he was pretty poor. But what he did do is he simplified his game. He just ended up just trying to get the ball off players, just trying to nick in and keep the ball simple, shorter passes. And at times he was getting criticised for making those shorter passes because it was just playing it safe. But that's probably just to get his confidence up.
Nothing wrong with him.
It's to get his confidence up. And then as over time, he's passing between the lines, he's getting back his diag balls, and he's dribbling out with the ball, which is what Arsenal needed. It's all well and good being that defensive midfielder or midfielder that can win the ball and pass it off. Yes, that's great. Arsenal can find them players all day long, but to find a player who can win the ball, pass it, but also drive out with it with pace, that's what will take. That's what makes a central midfielder better than the others, and will help Arsenal moving forward, because it gives us another option. It's just like we've not only got Ben White who breaks out of defence, you've got Thomas Partey that will break out of midfield as well, and they're two unexpected positions considering they're both defensive types.
Even Granit Xhaka, I don't know how he's moving up.
Well, he's playing in a higher position. He's playing as a number 8 at the moment. So it's very, very interesting to see what's going to happen in the future. But right now, it's working, and Arsenal playing some excellent football.
I think Mikel Arteta likes his players to do everything, mate, doesn't he? He likes them all to be able to do everything.
And if you again, we have to keep saying this: you cannot ignore what Man City done. Man City had. Nigel de Jong in central midfield? He was outstanding. In the year that Man City had him, I think the Netherlands got to a World Cup final. He was brilliant, Nigel de Jong. Won the leagues with them, won the cups with them, and you thought, yes, this player is solid. They got rid of him. Pep got rid of him because he was a defensive midfielder. What Pep wants is he wants a midfielder who could tackle, who can run out with the ball, who can score a goal, who can pass. Like, he wants an all-round midfielder. So he'd have an all-round midfielder that's built like a giant, Rodri, who can do all of that. And then he'd have an all-round midfielder who can this is what, and that's what I like to see. Yes, we all want. The reason why Kante is so lauded as the player that he is, because he'll win the ball and he'll drive out. Yeah. Now that's a different type of defensive midfielder. You don't really get that, because they're usually defensive midfielders. They can tackle and they can keep a short pass. They're not running and dribbling with the ball and potentially creating a chance or adding an extra player in a certain position you wouldn't expect in between the lines or in the spaces. They're not. Yeah. This is what these players, when they do that, that's when they step it up above the rest of these other players. So yeah, like I said, you can't look past.
I like the teamwork as well. I like the teamwork and the discipline. Before we go on, mate, the teamwork and the discipline of these players is fantastic, and you have to have teamwork and discipline. If you're going to be on the football pitch, I'm talking. I mean, you have to have it off. That's a given, but you also have to have it on the pitch as well, just as much. And you notice when teams attack us, when teams attack us, and obviously we have to sort of move or go to wherever their players are and whatever. But when Arsenal attack, when Arsenal get the break, they do the same thing all the time, and they'll all break. And every time you see Arsenal break now, there's 5 people forward. They've got 5 people across that front line just outside the penalty area, and they're all spread across. And you have to watch it. It's every single time. Whether it's maybe if Cedric's gone forward or if Tierney's gone forward the other side, and you've got Saka or whatever, but you've always got 5. You've always got the 5, and they can't just pick these 5. They must be doing some kind of telepathy on the pitch or something. But there's always this 5, and the 5 are always spread out exactly the same. It can be different players. It's not always. And there's always a very, very big gap. And what that does, Kieran, that spreads out the defenders. So now there's massive gap between like their back 4, if you like, when Arsenal come forward, because Arsenal have spread 5 across the front, and it's like, ain't it easy, this game?
Yeah, well, they made the Leicester game look easy, and Leicester are not a team to be taken lightly. Yes, they haven't had the best of seasons, but as I said previously, they just come off a 4 game winning streak. So yeah, well done, Arsenal. Let's get into the Liverpool game tomorrow. We'll talk about Lacazette next week, because this is a big game for Arsenal. We probably know the squad. We probably already know the starting lineup, unless Tomiyasu comes back. But I still think it'd probably be too soon for him to bring him into a game like Liverpool. Yeah. But what's your thoughts on the game? Not many people would be expecting us to win it, but it's at home, so surely we've got to put up a solid fight.
Yeah, I would take a point now. Liverpool quality. And it's going to be. I can't. Do you know what? I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm buzzing for this tomorrow, because the Emirates is going to be, laughing.
Yeah, it's going to be rocking, isn't it?
It's going to be absolutely rocking, and I want to come on here tomorrow night, because if we can win this game, tomorrow, I really think that's. That could be us top 4. It'd be very difficult for people to stop us, I think, and we'd have the, we'd have the confidence to go in after that. But it's going to be very, very difficult. They've just bought player, like Diaz. He worries me. He's going to be quick and nippy at the front. But we've just got to play our own game. We've just got to do what we do. We've not got to. Take Liverpool and go out there and think, well, this is Liverpool. We've got to do something differently. Just go out. Let's just play the game like we played their last, 5, 6, 7 games. Let's just do that, and we can beat them. We can beat Liverpool, and I think we beat them. Was it last season? We beat them 2-0, and we can do it again. And yeah, it's very exciting. I mean, I think we just play a game. We've just got to play a game. Partey and Xhaka. And Odegaard. If Odegaard hits it off in that midfield there, it's going to be a big battle. It's going to be so difficult, but I can't wait.
Yeah, I think if you look at the last 3 times we've played Liverpool, take away the scoreline. The performances weren't bad performances. I know the one at the start of the season we lost. I think it was 3 or 4-0, but they didn't score the first goal until just before half time. It was a mistake by Tavares, and then after I think a couple of changes got made. I think it was when Lokonga was playing in central midfield that day as well. And by about the 60th minute, he started to lose a bit of his discipline. He wasn't in the position that he was meant to be. And I think this, as you were saying, alluding to earlier, Arsenal are set up in a way where everyone knows their position. And if anyone's out of that position, if it's a team like Liverpool spot a player is out of that position, then they're gonna pounce on that. I think the last game, as we all know, was a 2-0 loss in the cup. We were down to 10 men, but still, it was a game where I just think we had nothing left. We were a threadbare squad at the time. It cut game, 3 games in the space of 7 days. I think we had Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, and then Liverpool. So we were dead on our feet. And the previous game before that, on the Thursday, we drew 0-0 at Anfield, which was a solid 0-0 game. It felt like a victory at the time. But it felt like we were galvanised a little bit. Like we felt like we've taken a step in the right direction, that we can go to Anfield and hold them to a draw. So it'll be really interesting to see how they take this game, how they approach it, how they go into it, and how they try and take on Liverpool. Because I
hope we don't sit back. I hope we don't just sit back.
I don't see them just sit back. I don't want them to go crazy and go gung-ho, but I want them to test Liverpool. I want them to challenge Liverpool. I want them to try and go at them in certain times. I know the likes of Saka, Martinelli, they won't care. They won't care who they're playing, and they will just go at the defenders. So it'll be interesting to see how we approach this game. The big one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Thomas Partey plays in this one. You know, it's because there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. He's been getting a lot of plaudits this week.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be on his back if he has one bad game against Liverpool. You know, no way.
Yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of people will. I mean, I hope to God he does have a really good game. But I just want to see. I want to see, behind our own crowd, under the lights. I want to see, him to be bouncing, and I just want to see our, like you just Saka's, our Martinelli's, our Odegaards. I want to see them, take Liverpool to the cleaners.
Yeah, no, so do I. It'd be brilliant. Because Odegaard, I mean, he's been on absolutely scintillating form recently, and it'll be nice to see him do it against Liverpool, which I fully think he can do it. And I think we know that Thomas Partey can play well against Liverpool. He has done in the Champions League a couple of times. So yeah, it's a big game. Who do you think is going to be the key player for Arsenal tomorrow night?
I think
we know the squad. We know the starting lineup. It'll be Ramsdale in goal, Gabriel and Ben White. It'll be Cedric on the right, Tierney on the left. It'll be Xhaka and Thomas Partey. Xhaka just in front of Thomas Partey. It'll be Odegaard just in front of them. Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Lacazette up top.
Yeah. I like when Xhaka goes. He plays in front, but when Partey goes forward, he drops back. That's what I think Arteta likes about Xhaka. I think because he's disciplined, he does what he tells. And that's what I think all players all managers have liked about Xhaka, because he does what they tell him to do.
Yeah.
Apart from put someone into the stand every now and then.
No one asked him to do that.
But I won't argue if he did that to Mane. The dirty sod he is, Mane. But no, it's key men. They've all got to have good games, haven't they? You could pick sort of that they've got to have a good game all over the pitch. If really, it probably won't be a forward for me. I think it'll either be someone who's got to open up the midfield, probably like an Odegaard who's going to open someone up, or we all know Liverpool's main dangers where they come from. I think we've got Salah, down the right, and you've got Robinson as well, and on the other side you've got Diaz and Trent. So, I think...
All right, Steve, bloody hell. All right, we're talking about Arsenal here.
Give me just a minute. Just give us a second.
Trent Alexander-Beckham, like leave it out, like that geezer. I've not seen it. James Ward-Prowse and Trent Alexander-Arnold, the two players that are just, when it comes to dead balls or whipping in a ball, are just like up there with that geezer, or just behind him. And no one's up there with that geezer, but yeah,
he does whip. I don't know. He just whips them in just like straight away.
Unreal.
Doesn't even think about it.
On the move, dead ball, whatever.
Yeah, I was just about to say that on the move, it comes to him. He don't even think. He's like, and he puts it on their head. And I'm thinking, how do you do that? It's incredible. But yeah, anyway, enough of them. But I do think like that our fullbacks will have to have a good game because you've got those four players. They've got to be stopped. And I think if they're stopped, if you stop them, I think we win the game. There's always an area of the pitch. Sometimes you think, well, it's the midfield. Sometimes if you win that midfield battle, you win the game. And 9 times out of 10, that is the case. But I think in this particular game, because of who Liverpool, what they've got on the left and what they've got on the right, with those four players, I think that's going to be our territory. That's what we'll be talking to Martinelli and Tierney and Cedric and Saka about. Them. So yeah, I'm going to go for. I've only got to pick one. I'll pick the probably the not as good a player as the other. So I'm going to go for Cedric again.
I was hoping you'd say that. Because if Cedric is to have a good game, is it about time that the Arsenal faithful give him a little bit more respect, put a bit more respect on his name? Yes, he's not the best player technically, but he puts in a shift. He can whip it across. He's got good pace, and he's a good backup, solid backup.
He's a Portuguese international. I just don't know. I don't think people have. I think people see him play a few games for Arsenal and think, "Oh, he's useless." And he hasn't ever. It's not like he's came in and never started for Arsenal. He's only ever came in the odd League Cup game or FA Cup game, or when someone's injured for once.
Yeah.
He's not ever had a run. Now he's getting a run in a confident winning side. With quality all around him, which any player needs, no matter whether you Cristiano Ronaldo or someone in the non-league. And he's got his run. And he's smashing it, and he's doing it week in, week out. But as I said, he's a Portuguese, right back. He won the Euros. He's got like over 100 odd caps for Portugal. So to say he's rubbish is ridiculous. And yeah, you're right. People have got to start, putting some, putting something on his name because he deserves it. And especially if he has a good game tomorrow. If he has a bad one.
Yeah, if he has a bad one, I'll rip this thing down, and now we'll never see the show again.
Yeah, no, it is. But I think Cedric needs to have a good one.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I completely hear that and understand why you'd say that as well. Because especially if they whether it's Sadio Mane or Jota, I don't know which. Well, I think worse for us at the moment is Jota. Diego Jota is. Yeah. He's an absolute thorn in Arsenal's side. We don't seem to be able to handle him in front of goal. We don't seem to be able to handle his movement. He's an excellent player who's very underrated, and Klopp has found our Achilles heel. No matter how we managed to stop Liverpool, Diego Jota managed to score past us. So hopefully tomorrow we can keep
they probably have something like they'll have Diaz, and then they'll have and then they'll have Jota, Mane, and Salah with Diaz playing behind, with Trent Alexander on the left and Robertson on the right,
and a clone of Trent Alexander somewhere else as well.
But it'd be like if we win that game, we go, yeah, but Arteta could have done this, and
yeah. No, Steve. Like, look, these people that will say they've not got an agenda, but will turn around and say. If Mikel Arteta doesn't get top 4, he should get the sack. And if Mikel Arteta gets the top 4, he should get the sack. Like, they talk nonsense. They will be found out. They've already been found out, and they're keeping quiet right now. They're waiting for a blip, but again, the people that come out straight away once there's a blip are going to look like what they are, and that's people with an agenda because you're waiting for the first mistake possible.
Yeah. I mean, Johnny and Stephen having a good old chat. I was going to say, if you used to want me to go and get you a room.
I tell you what, I'll put the link to join the pod in here. Me and Steve will jump out, and you can run the show. Look at that, Johnny, the Johnny and Stephen show. What's he saying here? The way Liverpool are talking, Arsenal are getting battered. Arsenal are getting slapped, and I hope they take the points from them. We all do. I hope they do as well. Steve, before we go, give us your score prediction.
Oh, I think we can do them.
Do you know what? Anyone seen Wolf on Wall Street? Yeah, there's just a bit where it was a bit where Leonardo DiCaprio is just about to leave, and he goes, "I think we do." What? Oh my God!
We can do them, lads. We can do it. Yes. Did you see it? He was I can see him on YouTube. He bought a club, didn't he, that guy?
Matthew McConaughey. Yes, he did. He bought the Timbers. The Timbers. Austin Timbers. Yeah.
He come out onto the pitch, didn't he?
Yeah, that was quality. That was quality. Could you imagine that?
What a great... that was happening at Arsenal. You'd be going boom, 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 boom.
Mate, you'd love it. You'd love it.
Anybody's going the game tomorrow, get that one going.
Hey, if we win, my entrance is just going to be that. All right, Joe, what? Even if we draw. All right, give us your score prediction, Steve.
As I said, I think we can do them. I think we can do them. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for a 2-1.
All right, Steve is going for a 2-1 Arsenal victory. 2-1 to the Arsenal at home at the Emirates Stadium against Liverpool. What a game that will be. Make sure you join us for the post-match reaction straight after the game. That'll be at 10 o'clock. The game's at 8 o'clock tomorrow, isn't it? So it'll be at 10 o'clock. Is it the game 8 o'clock? It is. So it'll be a 10 o'clock show tomorrow. Make sure you join us live for the reaction of Arsenal's victory win against Liverpool, people. Yeah. That's all we're going to say.
It won't make everyone tuning. It won't make any sense what we're saying.
Yeah. Honestly, if Arsenal beat Liverpool tomorrow, it's just going to be a ramble, a half-hour ramble. And if you want the decoded version, you have to watch it Tuesday once we've calmed down.
Yeah, put the party poppers.
Yeah. Get ready. All right. Thank you for everyone who has joined us tonight. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Rush. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate the support. Anyone that is watching on any of the other platforms, make sure you join us in the chat next time. These guys in here, very friendly. Great bunch. So make sure you join us. If you are watching on Facebook, come over to KS1 TV, change the settings so we know who you are. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure you come over to KS1 TV, press the link below that I always put in as well. If you are watching and you are first, and it's the first time you watch tonight, make sure you press that subscribe button, people. Press that like as well so the algorithm can know that you're enjoying the show. Appreciate the support. Thanks for joining us tonight, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure as always.
All right, and thank you for everyone else who's joined us. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.